England in 1381 was a land on the brink. For years, the common people, the peasants, had suffered. Life was hard, and then came a new tax, the poll tax. It was the final straw. In May 1381, anger boiled over. Thousands of peasants in Essex and Kent rose up. Armed with whatever they could find, they marched on London. They wanted to confront the king himself, the young Richard II. This was no small uprising. This was the Peasants' Revolt, a defining moment in English history. It was a time when ordinary people stood up against injustice. It was a fight for their rights and their very survival. The peasants' anger had deep roots. England was recovering from the Black Death, a terrible plague that killed millions. Labor was scarce and wages were low. The peasants felt trapped. Then came the poll tax. This new tax was different. It was levied on every adult, rich or poor. To the peasants, it was the ultimate injustice. They were already struggling to survive. This new tax felt like tyranny. The poll tax was deeply unpopular. It sparked resistance across the country. People refused to pay. Local officials who tried to collect the tax were met with anger and defiance. The stage was set for a full-blown revolt. The revolt began in small villages but quickly gained momentum. Led by figures like Wat Tyler, a charismatic and determined man, the rebels marched on London. They aimed to make the king listen to their grievances. The rebels' arrival in London sent shockwaves through the city. They were numerous and angry, demanding justice. They broke into prisons, freeing prisoners. They targeted the homes of wealthy merchants and tax collectors. The king, sheltered in the Tower of London, was forced to negotiate. During a tense meeting at Smithfield, Wat Tyler presented the rebels' demands. They wanted an end to serfdom, fair wages, and an end to the hated poll tax. The king, young and inexperienced, seemed to agree to their terms. Section 4, the aftermath, broken promises and lasting change. The hope sparked by the king's apparent agreement was short-lived. Violence erupted at Smithfield and Wat Tyler was killed. The rebels, leaderless and betrayed, were dispersed. The revolt was crushed. Richard II, now firmly in control, reneged on his promises. The poll tax remained. The rebels were hunted down and many were executed. The revolt had seemingly failed. However, the impact of the Peasants' Revolt was profound. It showed the power of ordinary people united against injustice. It forced the ruling class to acknowledge the peasants' grievances. Section 5. The Revolt's Legacy, a Turning Point. The Peasants' Revolt was a turning point in English history. It may not have achieved its immediate goals, but it sent a powerful message. The revolt showed the limits of royal authority. It also highlighted the growing dissatisfaction among the peasantry. In the years that followed, the poll tax was abolished. The feudal system, which had bound peasants to the land, began to crumble. The seeds of change had been sown. The Peasants' Revolt of 1381 remains a potent symbol of ordinary people fighting for their rights. It reminds us that even in the face of overwhelming odds, the fight for justice and equality continues.